Dinopithecus, the giant caribou ape that terrified our ancestors. Imagine this. You are transported back millions of years as you stand barefoot on the cracked earth of ancient Africa. The sun beats down relentlessly with tall grasses swaying in the hot wind, and the distant acacia trees dot the horizon like silent guardians. You are small, as you stand just 3 to 4 feet tall, bipedal, scavenging for whatever scraps you can find, constantly scanning for danger, because danger is everywhere. Big cats with saber-like teeth prowl the shadows. Hyenas laugh in the distance. And then, something even more primal emerges from the underbrush. A deep, rumbling growl vibrates through your chest. The ground trembles faintly with heavy footfalls. Out steps a creature that looks like a baboon, but magnified to nightmare proportions. Massive shoulders, thick arms rippling with muscle, a muzzle full of dagger-like canines, and eyes burning with territorial fury. This thing does not just walk. It commands the landscape. One wrong move. You are lunch. This was Dinopithecus ingens, the terrible ape, or more literally, the huge terrible ape. Dinopithecus ingens, a prehistoric giant primate that dwarfed anything swinging through the trees today, likely viewed our earliest ancestors as easy targets, competitors, or prey. If the thought of a human-sized baboon stalking same savannas where humanity took its first steps sends a shiver down your spine, buckle up. This is one of the most intimidating chapters in our evolutionary story. Welcome to the channel, where we bring back the lost titans of prehistory. Today, we are going all in on Dinopithecus, unpacking its massive size, brutal lifestyle, chilling overlap with early hominins, and why it vanished. If you are already hooked on this nature was metal vibe, hit that like button right now. Subscribe, turn on notifications. Let us plunge into the terror. Dinopithecus, name straight from Greek, Dinos for terrible or frightful, combined with pithekos for ape. It was not some fantasy monster cooked up for shock value. This was a real genus of enormous old-world monkey, firmly in the Papianan tribe, the same branch that gave us modern baboons, mandrills, and gelatus. But Dinopithecus pushed every trait to the extreme. Bigger, stronger, and more imposing. It thrived during the Pliocene through early Pleistocene epochs, a stretch from about 5 million years ago down to roughly 1 to 2 million years ago. Time when Africa's landscapes were shifting from dense forests to more open woodlands and savannas. The bulk of fossils come from southern Africa, especially the world-famous cradle of humankind in South Africa. Key sites include the limestone cave systems at Swartkrans, particularly Member 1 deposits, Stertfontein, Member 4, and others like Cooper's Cave or Hoogland. Farther north, related material appears in Ethiopia's Shungira Formation. These were not scattered surface finds. Most were trapped in cave breccias, ancient sediments washed in during floods, or accumulated from predator kills, preserving skulls, jaws, and teeth, but frustratingly few full skeletons or limb bones. The credit for naming this beast goes to one of paleontology's legends, Robert Broom. A Scottish-born doctor-turned-fossil hunter, Broom was already famous for his work on early hominins like Australopithecus in 1937, examining massive jaw fragments and partial skulls from the Schurberg region. He formally described Dinopithecus ingens. He chose the name deliberately, terrible for its fearsome appearance and ingens for huge. Broom knew giants. He would help unearth some of the first robust Australopiths, and this primate stood out as something extraordinary even among them. What truly sets Dinopithecus apart? Size, raw, overwhelming size. Estimates vary slightly depending on the method, but males averaged 46 to 49 kilograms, around 100 to 108 pounds, with the largest individuals potentially reaching 77 kilograms, a staggering 170 pounds or more. Some reconstructions. Females were dimorphic, smaller, typically 29 to 31 kilograms, about 64 to 68 pounds. Shoulder height, when on all fours, big males reach up to 1.5 meters, 5 full feet, towering over most modern primates. Females are closer to 1.2 meters to 4 feet. For context, the largest living Cacma baboon, the biggest modern species, maxes out around 40 kilograms and stands perhaps 1.2 meters at the shoulder on a good day. Dinopithecus was consistently twice as heavy, broader, more robust. Now layer in our ancestors' forescale. Take Australopithecus africanus or afarensis, Lucy types, standing 3 to 4.5 feet tall and weighing 30 to 50 kilograms at most. A prime adult male Dinopithecus would not just be bigger, it would loom like a grizzly over a toddler. Even early Homo erectus, appearing toward the later end of its range, would have faced something that looked monstrously powerful. Paleoart often captures this perfectly. Massive Dinopithecus, males towering over small hominins, emphasizing just how uneven the playing field was. The skull and teeth reveal more about its life. Long, deep muzzle, enormous canines for threat displays and fighting, and thick enamel on molars for grinding tough vegetation. Its face was somewhat smoother than modern baboons, lacking the extreme cheek ridges or fossae, but the bite force implied by those jaws was devastating. Powerful jaw muscles, a robust bone structure, massive canines designed to tear and puncture, and thick molars built to crush and grind. While we do not have direct bite force measurements, no living specimens for testing, scaling from modern baboons, which can inflict serious wounds on humans or medium animals, and its larger size, Dinopithecus likely had a bite capable of crushing bone, herring flesh, and handling very tough foods. With ease, those jaws were not just for show. They were weapons, tools, and survival machines. Diet? Omnivorous, just like its modern baboon relatives, but with clear preferences backed by science. Carbon isotope analysis from tooth enamel shows Dinopithecus consumed the smallest portion of grass and savanna-based C4 plants of any South African primate, meaning it avoided heavy grazing. Molar micro-wear patterns closely match those of the living yellow baboon, indicating a broad, eclectic diet. Studies of molar adaptations point to very high frugivory, a very high percentage of fruit as the primary food source, with relatively few leaves. It is supplemented with underground storage organs like tubers and roots, seeds, fibrous plants, insects, bird eggs, small reptiles, invertebrates, and opportunistic small vertebrates. Modern baboons hunt when they can, grabbing fawns, monkeys, or scavenging. So a scaled-up Dinopithecus could tackle even larger prey items opportunistically. This varied, high-fruit-leaning omnivory made it adaptable in mosaic habitats, but also demanding, requiring consistent access to calorie-rich foods. Behavior almost certainly mirrored modern baboon troops, complex, hierarchical, and explosive social dynamics. They lived in multi-male, multi-female groups, likely dozens strong, sometimes larger. In intense social structures, males competed brutally for dominance, flashing those enormous canines, charging rivals, and protecting the group from threats. Foraging was cooperative, troops moving together to strip fruit from trees, dig for roots, raid nests, and defend prime spots. While not hunting in packs like wolves or lions, these troops could act as coordinated units for opportunistic predation, mobbing small prey, scavenging kills, or defending against threats. At this massive size, a troop of Dinopithecus would have been a formidable force, roars echoing across valleys, dust clouds from charges, and dominance displays that could scatter lesser animals. They probably spent significant time on the ground, quadrupedal, in mixed woodland savanna mosaics, adaptable but limited by their bulk and high-energy needs. And now, the section that makes this story legendary, a direct overlap with humanity's dawn and the enemies they faced. Dinopithecus fossils co-occur in the exact same cave deposits as Australopithecus, Paranthropus robustus, and early Homo. Swartkrans member 1 and Sterkfontein member 4, these sites preserve a snapshot of shared ecosystems. They competed for the same fruits, water holes, and shelter in fluctuating climates. But Dinopithecus was not invincible. In that dangerous world, it had enemies too. Large carnivores like saber-toothed cats, Dinopithecus, known for preying on primates, other big cats, hyenas, and even massive prehistoric crocodiles lurking at water sources. Those armored reptiles could ambush with bone-crushing bites, easily tackling a large primate near rivers. Troops provided protection, numbers, vigilance, and those powerful jaws for defense. What lone individuals or juveniles remained vulnerable. Paleoartists love dramatizing the flip side. Massive Dinopithecus males lunging at isolated juveniles and troops ambushing foraging parties. Modern baboons opportunistically hunt vervet monkeys and young antelope and even harass humans. Amplify that power. Those jaws crushing bone and canines tearing, and it is easy to imagine Dinopithecus as a genuine threat. Our ancestors were not apex yet. They were small and tool-poor, and often on the menu for big cats, hyenas, crocodiles, and possibly these giant primates. Some speculate early hominins turned the tables, hunting juveniles or subadults, with one interpretation of clustered juvenile baboon fossils, suggesting selective pressure from Homo erectus-like groups. Direct proof of predation either way, like bite marks on hominin bones from Dinopithecus, remains elusive. No confirmed smoking gun. But the ecological overlap, size disparity, shared timelines, paints a picture of intense rivalry. Early hominins might have avoided prime foraging areas, stuck to trees more, and developed better vigilance or group defenses, shaped by the shadow of creatures like this. In that brutal world, nature was not just metal, it was forged in fire. So why did Dinopithecus disappear? The late Pliocene to Pleistocene saw massive environmental upheaval, savannas expanding, woodlands shrinking, and seasonal droughts intensifying. Larger bodies require more food, longer daily feeding, less tolerance for scarcity. As fruit resources thinned, big frugivores struggled. Competition piled on for other papionins, gelada-like grazers, and crucially, early hominins refining tools, scavenging better, and perhaps actively hunting juveniles or competing aggressively for resources. Some researchers speculate targeted pressure from tool-using groups, but evidence is circumstantial. By 1 to 2 million years ago, Dinopithecus had faded from the record. Its closest echoes survive in today's baboons, smaller, more adaptable, but still troop-living, bold, opportunistic, and carrying faint remnants of that ancient power. Dinopithecus ingens is not just an extinct primate. Take her as a stark reminder of how precarious our origins were. A terrible ape, gigantic, ferocious, sharing the stage with our family tree, possibly hunting, competing, shaping survival strategies that led to us. What hits you hardest about this creature? The mind-boggling size difference with Australopithecus. Did its powerful jaws and omnivorous diet contribute to its remarkable adaptability? The idea it might have seen our ancestors as prey, while facing its own terrifying enemies? Drop your thoughts in the comments. What prehistoric terror should we cover next? Gigantopithecus. The colossal Asian ape? Terror birds? Feathered apex predators? Megatherium. Ground sloths bigger than elephants. If this deep dive into Dinopithecus gave you that primal thrill, smash like, subscribe for more extinct animal breakdowns, hit the bell, so you never miss an upload. Thanks for joining me on this journey into deep time. Stay curious, question everything. Remember, back then, nature did not just test our ancestors, it tried to erase them. See you in the next one. See you in the next one. See you in the next one. See you in the next one.